As one of LEGO's longest running themes, Minecraft has had many years of changes and innovations. So let's turn back the clock today to see what the designers were cooking up back in 2015. For context, I want to talk about what was happening within Minecraft itself at this point, because it was a very different game than it is now. 1.8, the Bountiful update, would have been 2015's major release, adding features like the Ocean Monument, armor stands, slime blocks, spectator mode, and more. I think it's safe to say that Minecraft still felt very classic and simple at this point, and the earliest LEGO sets, as you'll soon see, reflect that very well. In terms of the LEGO theme, 2015 was only Minecraft's second year of releasing minifigure scale playsets, and I've done a video on all the 2014 sets too if you haven't watched that already. And strangely, 2015 would be the theme's smallest ever year, with only a single wave of 4 sets. LEGO still seemed hesitant to put a lot of weight behind this line. Nevertheless, these 4 sets are surprisingly large and pack in some of the best functions that the LEGO Minecraft theme has ever had to offer. The first set that we're going to be looking at today is simply titled The Dungeon. When you think back to the early days of Minecraft, it is certainly one of the most iconic structures, and I think the designer here has done a great job of putting it in its most memorable setting, the desert. Once upon a time, the easiest way to find a dungeon was by looking for sunken sand blocks in the desert biome. Unfortunately, it rarely happens in modern versions of Minecraft, but back in the day, you were almost guaranteed to find a dungeon this way. And so that's very much where I imagine this scene playing out. Of the 4 sets that we'll be taking a look at today, this is the smallest, but with 219 pieces, it ends up being quite substantial yet. And that's a recurring theme you'll see throughout today's video. These sets were big. They made use of big pieces, lots of bricks, lots of base plates, really in an attempt to flesh out their environments as much as possible. The figure lineup here was nothing that LEGO Minecraft fans of the time hadn't seen before, but they're solid, important characters. Steve, of course, was included in every single 2014 minifigure scale set, and he shows up here yet again. It's worth pointing out that until 2024, LEGO used this version of Steve with the light nougat skin tone. They've since replaced that to be a darker, more accurate one. There's 2 zombies included in the set, a design that has remained unchanged to this day. It's a perfect example of simple done well. And I think that phrase extends to the rest of this set too. It's a familiar setting in one of the oldest biomes of the game, the oldest generating structure, but everything here makes sense and it instantly feels like Minecraft. Off to the side, you get one of those randomly generating lava pools where somehow a cactus is hanging onto a single block of sand in there. I think that's a great touch, something that almost certainly happened in these early versions of Minecraft. The mossy cobblestone is represented here with dark green, which I think works pretty well, especially considering the older texture of the time. There's a single piece of gold ore here to give Steve something at mine with his iron pickaxe that's included in the set. And the last exterior detail I want to mention is the dead bush, which was represented with 2 reddish-brown flower petals stacked on top of each other. The new design is infinitely better. You'll have undoubtedly noticed the oversized spawner in the middle of the dungeon here, and the reason that it's constructed this way is so that it can include this really cool play feature. There's actually a spinning micro mob inside. It's one of the same zombies that was included in the micro world sets from a few years earlier. This same spawner design would be used in several different sets over the years, appearing as recently as the skeleton dungeon with a skeleton micro mob inside. One really great detail that's included here are just 4 jumpers around the spawner, which allow you to place the included torches there. I remember that was one of the first things I learned about Minecraft, was to always place the torches on every side of the spawner to prevent mobs from spawning in the room around you. I think it's great that that was included here. It certainly would have resonated with players of the actual game. Off to the side, there's a chest included with the usual dungeon garbage. You've got a piece of redstone and then 2 wheat as well. There is no wall directly behind the chest, which allows you to open it up easily, and it fills in that space rather satisfyingly. And then there's the really cool feature of this set, the spawning mechanism. This section of the wall is hinged, which allows you to pop a zombie in there just like he spawned via the spawner. It's not over-engineered, it works great, and looks pretty good too. One cool feature that all of these sets that we're going to look at today have is this extra rebuild inspiration section in the instruction booklet. The instructions will have you take off this little piece of terrain which is loosely connected with 3 jumpers, and you can use the pieces from this to create a staircase for Steve to escape from the dungeon with. It's certainly not mind-blowing. I mean, we're looking at just a handful of parts here, but I like how LEGO is encouraging you to take the next step, rip the build apart, and try making something of your own. I think it's that ability, that license to be creative that makes the LEGO Minecraft theme one of LEGO's best. Thanks to Brickset, we have a bit of information from the designers of each of the 2015 sets. Mike Psyche chips in for Carl Miriam, the actual designer of the set, because apparently Miriam is, quote, not too good at internet. Of the set, he says, it appears to be fairly simple, but there's a very cool spawning function built into it. This was the first model that Carl designed for Minecraft. The next set that we're going to be taking a look at is the Snow Hideout. This is a 327-piece, $40 set that was released as part of this wave. And yeah, it's kind of hard to hear that price per piece. Even though this was over a decade ago, using the simplest pieces, that was pretty expensive for what you got. And it certainly makes me thankful for the LEGO Minecraft prices that we're seeing today, which somehow feel better, especially when you take inflation into account. This set is rather exciting as it's the first time that the minifigure scale playsets explored a snowy biome. Included yet again is Steve, this time with a wooden shovel and a wooden pickaxe. You get a creeper, a mob that we saw from 2014, and then there's a new addition here which is quite exciting, and that's the Snow Golem. The Snow Golem introduced 2 new prints in 2015, those of course being his little buttons, one on a 1x2 brick and then one on a 1x2 tile. And say what you will about stud shooters, but I think this is a fantastic implementation of them. And funnily enough, that recolor would have been new for 2015 as well. And then, of course, I've got to mention the jack-o'-lantern, which is making a return from the farm set released in 2014. Great little figure, one that we don't see nearly enough in LEGO Minecraft. A very similar but slightly different version was included in the Ice Spike set, and then there's another one without the stud shooters in the Advent Calendar from 2025. Again, one thing like the dungeon that this set excels at is just the expansive slice of the world that it gives you. There's a ton of room for minifigures and adventures to play out. And a fan favorite feature of models of this era is the fact that it's all built up off the ground, making it extremely easy to interconnect models. All you need is a few extra 2x4 bricks, and in fact, the set already gives you these perfect points to build off of. Not that it would make a ton of sense, but this would be really easy to connect to the dungeon that we just took a look at. And you know, there's something about this actually that makes it difficult to review for me. So many LEGO sets are linear. You know, there's a perfect starting point and a perfect ending point. But this is, like I said, it's a chunk of the world, and I love that about these sets. They feel really complete right out of the box. It's something that we don't see a lot in modern LEGO, especially at this price point. But let's go ahead and start here in the frozen ocean. We've got some coal ore exposed here, and then you'll see all these ice blocks beautifully made of the unfortunately discontinued trans medium blue. It was and remains such a great ice color, popularized perhaps best with Alpha Team Mission Deep Freeze, a video I'd highly encourage you to watch after this one, especially if you like these sorts of colors in this sort of environment. We've got a torch up here on the sandy bank melting the ice away, and then a bucket to collect the water that's left behind. Off on the other side of the igloo structure, we've got one of these trees, and even though it's not even close to being accurate, I really like the design. I think this is a great way to simplify this style of spruce tree. And again, you're getting those trans green 2x2 bricks in there. That looks really fun too. I was kind of surprised by this, but the set does make use of the classic flower stem here. They hadn't quite been replaced yet. I really love this type of flower stem, even though it doesn't have a lot of great clutch power. There's no better way to say it. It just looks more LEGO-like. And then there's the igloo, which is pretty substantial. It easily takes up about half of the space here. Brilliantly, the designer has made the model hinge open in the back so you can get easy access into the interior. And as if that wasn't enough, it's not too difficult to take off the roof here as well. And you can see more of the ice blocks used as windows around the structure. Awesome stuff. Inside, there's not too much going on. You've got a bed over here in the corner. Never mind, I'm dreaming. There's no bed in the corner. Is that right? I could have sworn. What am I thinking? I'm thinking of the next set. The next set has. Anyway, that space is empty, so you can fill it with whatever you want. In the main entryway, you get one of the doors that I believe we would have seen in the crafting box as well. And then a brick-built fire piece. I think this honestly looks fantastic. You get a great gradient here with the white at the base, trans yellow, and then trans orange, and that's very cleverly built atop a block of netherrack. The designer here did his research. And then there's a crafting table off to the side. Super simple interior, but lots of room in it. I mean, the minifigure can fit there very easily. A bed over here would have been great, but I've saved the best feature for last. You'll have noticed, of course, that there is this rather conspicuous looking platform, and that of course is a TNT explosion. And quite a good one too. You get these 4 individual blocks that blast off. Actually, it leaves behind a pretty nice crater, complete with brown tiles on the bottom, like it's dirt that's been exposed after the snow has been blown away. Really, really effective. Great design. Designer Robert Heim has very little to say about this set, simply stating it was his first. These days, Heim works almost exclusively for the LEGO City line, but he left his mark on Minecraft in the early years, helping develop a number of iconic sets. So this next set feels truly massive. This is the Desert Outpost. It's got 4 minifigures, Steve of course, this time he's got an iron helmet and an iron sword, which is nice to see. There's 2 skeletons in this set, and then this was actually the first set to include Alex. And Alex has actually remained unchanged throughout the life of the LEGO Minecraft theme, at least through 2025. And then this set also introduces LEGO Minecraft's only new 2015 mold, the wolf head for the tamed wolf. Since then, of course, this mold has been used many different times with quite the variety of subtly different prints on them, and perhaps most notoriously, it was used unprinted as decoration on the modular police station. Again, this ends up being a really impressive slice of a world, and I think it is perhaps our most realistic player base that we've ever got. This feels like something any one of us would actually build in the game. It makes use of simple blocks, cobblestone and wood primarily, to build this small desert fortress. And once again, the model is nicely hinged, giving you easy access to different parts of it, or different ways to display it all together. It's actually hinged in a few spots here, so the model somehow became even bigger. Let's start by exploring the outside of the outpost. Over here we have a small garden with sugar cane and wheat, and then there's a little boat ramp for Steve to slide down. It's a pretty primitive boat here built atop a 4x4 plate, but it does the trick. Moving on over, you can see this walled section with some masonry bricks representing cobblestone walls, as stone brick walls would definitely not have existed at this time yet. And then over here, you might recognize the layout. This is another explosion feature, but rather than being activated by a creeper, it's actually activated by a TNT cannon up top, which I think is super fun. You've even got the redstone torch to ignite the TNT. So the idea is that the skeletons are standing at your gate, you light the TNT, launch it off the platform, and then blow them up. So awesome. The tiles beneath this explosion are gray, representing the stone you'd find underneath the sand. Really great attention to detail. Love to see it. You've got another one of the classic cactus designs, the classic Lego door, and the model does look good from all angles. You'll even find this really fun pile of sand back here. These are just all simply held in place by the jumper, so you could build some other structure with all these sand blocks or use it to expand this one. But here, let's go ahead and open this up to get a bit of a closer look inside. You're seeing one of the classic furnace prints here. That's just on top of a 2x2 brick. It's not double-sided like the modern ones that we see. There's a crafting table, just a little water feature over here, which I think is great. Totally believable. I can see someone adding that just for the vibes in their place. A little fountain in the corner of your build. Great stuff. And then you've got the main structure here. So there is this little roof section that you can remove very easily. It's just attached by a few jumpers. And then that hinges open as well. And there inside, you'll simply see a bed. And to get access here, there is a fence gate. You could easily move the furnace and crafting table inside here too, if that makes a bit more sense. But yeah, just bear in mind that there wasn't a whole lot of accessories available to the LEGO Minecraft designers at this point in the theme. It's not like today where every single new set includes something new and exciting. They were pretty much stuck with reusing the same things that had been introduced the year before. The Wolf and Alex were definitely anomalies at this time in LEGO Minecraft's history. This set was a really fun find at my local Bricks and Minifigs. It was always one that I wanted to experience for myself because it looked so impressive. I think this would have been a lot of fun to play with. There's some great features incorporated in here, and I love how they made use of these hinging sections and how they open so seamlessly and fit back into place. Again, it's all on these raised platforms, so this would be really easy to combine with the dungeon, and the dungeon being in a desert setting, that combination would make a lot more sense too. I think you're seeing it very clearly here that this is a set that really embodies simple done well. There's no crazy colors or mob house here to make this the most memorable set ever, but I think what makes this set so enjoyable is how familiar it feels. Because we've all made something mundane, practical, and it's really cool to see the early Minecraft designers lean into that. You can tell they're playing the game, discovering these things for the first time, and bringing that into their design. Even though these sets might not have stood out on shelves, they resonate with the kids who grew up with them because they could see themselves in this world. I certainly can see myself in this world, when I start up a survival world for the first day or two. This is so authentic to the Minecraft experience. I love that. I do have the instructions for this model, and once again, you'll find a little bit of extra rebuilding inspiration, which I think is great. You can tear apart the house to build a taller outpost tower. It's nothing crazy, but I really like, once again, how it just gets the creative gears turning. And then, I haven't mentioned this yet, but this is included in all of these instruction booklets, but there's this insane retro Minecraft image in here. I don't know what it means, but it's great. It's so random. It feels so out of place, Would kids think like, wow, this is a cool image. In addition to that, you'll find the wonderful, iconic Wave 1 Minecraft poster printed in here, a brief explainer of the functions included in the set, and then all of the 2014 and 2015 models here on the last 2 pages. Designer Max Valenbois played an important role in the earliest days of LEGO Minecraft, with many of the first wave sets being credited to him. He makes an interesting note about this model. It's a set that was designed with the integration of the Facebook community input. After the initial 2014 launch, it would seem the Minecraft team actively took and used community feedback from the first wave of sets and incorporated it into Wave 2. That just leaves one final set for us to look at, and that is the Nether Fortress, a set that to this day remains one of LEGO Minecraft's largest Nether-based sets. In terms of price per piece, this one is abysmal, rocking a mere 571 pieces at $80. It feels slightly larger than the Desert Outpost, but certainly not $20 larger. All that aside though, it is well worth mentioning, if you haven't noticed on the side columns already, that every single one of these 2015 sets is really cheap to pick up used. And even outside of Bricklink, these are pretty common finds on Facebook Marketplace or at brick and mortar retail LEGO resellers. Even for new copies of this set, you're unlikely to be paying much more than the original 2015 retail price. I love this set, and it totally lived up to the hype. I never had any of the 2015 sets growing up, It was as close as I got to my Lego Dark Age. This would have been the first Lego Minecraft Nether set. So there's some great figures and mobs that I really want to take a look at here. Of course, you get Steve. He's got a diamond pickaxe here and diamond armor, which is great to see. And then there's Alex as well. This will have been her second appearance, of course, right after the previous set. She's got a diamond helmet and a diamond sword. New for this set, and quite rare because of its omission from the modern versions of the game, is the zombie pigman. And this is a really fantastic minifigure because it's one of the few Lego Minecraft minifigures that actually has leg printing. Comparing this to the modern zombified piglin, I think I prefer this as a figure overall. It just feels a lot more like what it was trying to represent in game. It's too bad that these guys were cut from Minecraft altogether. This set also introduced the first Minecraft Blaze. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the perfect Lego Minecraft mob. The use of the hose elements here is absolutely brilliant. This thing looks like it was taken straight out of the game, which is absurdly impressive because the Minecraft Blaze does not look like an easy mob to translate into Lego. The designer here did a fantastic job. The last mob that I want to take a look at is the Ghast. It's a pretty goofy looking Ghast, significantly downscaled, but once again, instantly recognizable. And he's got not one, not two, but actually 3 specialized prints developed just for him. You see, you can actually swap out the face. The set includes an angry panel to put up here, and you'll see that reveals a stud shooter as well. The play feature is really well incorporated here. Putting that stud in place raises the top of the Ghast ever so slightly, and pressing down on it, yeah, it's not the prettiest looking thing, but at this scale, it's done really well. Love the incorporation of that firing mechanism. So unlike the other sets that we've looked at today, this one is a bit more linear, starting your journey out with the Nether portal. As most Lego Minecraft sets tend to do, there is some sort of feature built into it, and that's just that the portal itself can easily be lit or extinguished. It's just a really great 1x6x5 transparent purple wall panel there that slides into place on a few jumpers. From there, you'll see all sorts of these brick-built fire elements dotted around. And as much as I like the new modern light and minifigure on fire version molded piece, I'd still happily use these in a mock any day. Moving over here, you'll see this really massive lava fall and some glowstone, interestingly made up of a mix of olive green, trans yellow, and glow-in-the-dark pips. Given the block's texture in 2015 before it was updated, the olive green works surprisingly well. There's actually a feature incorporated into the glowstone here. If you're mining away, as you do in the Nether, you might run into some lava, which will pour down from the ceiling. Very accurate, and of course it flows just as fast and fierce as you would encounter in the Nether. I really like that. There's just a rubber bushing holding that in place. So you lift that up and it falls. That's all there is to it. And then we get to the actual fortress structure itself. I love how they've incorporated the window detailing into the arches here. And they've also got a few masonry bricks just to provide an extra bit of texture. There's just enough room on this 4 wide long bridge for figures to fit in. Man, it just looks so good. I love the texture here that they've accomplished. And this bridge will bring you all the way over to a treasure chest and some nether wart growing in here as well. The treasure chest has yet another gold sword as well as some diamonds, so certainly better to loot than what we found in the dungeon set from earlier. Once again, the whole model hinges just like the last 2 that we looked at, and it makes the whole build feel completely different. And I love the way that they've split up the bridge to make it look like it does in game, that it's just fallen apart at the ends. I think that's really clever, and you can tell the designer once again did his research. The dark brown here is meant to represent soul sand, and then the light bluish gray is meant to represent gravel. Those were pretty much the only blocks that appeared at the Nether, in addition to Netherrack, of course, during this time. This is quite a few years before the big Nether update. As far as the early Lego Minecraft sets go, this is certainly one of the best looking. I would really like to see Lego attempt another fortress sometime in the future. So yeah, Lego Minecraft's smallest ever wave is actually pretty cool. I could see any one of these sets being someone's all-time favorite. There's a great amount of diversity here, and it really complements the 2014 wave quite well, expanding the theme by giving us a bunch of locations and biomes that we hadn't seen explored thoroughly before. I hope to continue to make this a yearly tradition at Cheesy Studios, and so next year you can look forward to the 2016 sets. And it's only going to continue to get more and more exciting as the LEGO Minecraft theme continued to develop, add new figures, new elements, new colors, and incorporate the latest additions to Minecraft, the game itself. So thank you so much for watching. This has been a pleasure to do. I really enjoyed building these and experiencing these sets for the first time. Let me know if you grew up with any of these or have a particular favorite. I'd love to hear your stories about these sets. Until next time, I hope you have yourself a fantastic life, and I'll see you later.